It certainly has been quite a while since I last uploaded a video. The reason is that I have been quite busy with works and my comics. So, before I begin, I have a bit of an announcement to make. I'll no longer be making a bunch of videos covering a certain topic. Instead, I'll start making a larger video that cover multiple similar topics, once or twice per month. There'll also be some extra bits at the end, like answering extra questions asked on my Patreon that has to do with my series, Antrolan. Now that the announcement is out of the way, let's dive right into the discussion in this video. The first thing I want to talk about is how some artists define what makes a good artist and how it affects their works. Just like how opinions on art are considered to be subjective, so is the definition of a good artist. It just so happens that a lot of artists out there are insecure about what they draw because of the way they set up their own definition, giving themselves a lot of pressure and stress that should have never been there to begin with. Often, the definition of a good artist is based on one of the following points. 1. Technical skills. How polished and good looking are their drawings? 2. Creativity. How unique are their works and the message that they are sending? 3. Style. How much do they stand out compared to all the other artists? And 4. Popularity. How many people love them for what they draw and how often do you hear about them? In most cases, artists and even watchers will simply pick one of the 4 points and use it to judge how good an artist is. So, when artists choose a criterion that is out of their reach, like newer artists choosing popularity as their main definition of what it means to be good, they end up discouraging themselves when they are unable to fulfill their own definition. I find it flawed to limit what defines a good artist. You can be a terrible artist, but if what you draw is very niche, like fetishes, you will likely become popular and some will consider you a good artist. You can draw the same thing over and over with absolutely no creativity, but as long as they look great, people will still consider you a good artist as well. So, as long as you are a hardworking person who focuses on drawing instead of feeling discouraged and complaining, you can already be considered a good artist. You may not fulfill any of the criteria yet, but over time, you surely will. Don't just restrict the definition to a single point, and your art life will be so much more pleasant. Now that I have defined to you what I think makes a good artist, let me bring up the next topic, which is considered to be rather controversial in the art community. Art style thievery. Let me start by stating that I do not consider this to be a thing. There is no perfect recipe that anyone can observe and replicate when it comes to drawing. Just how we handle our pen is already unique from person to person and directly affect how the lines are drawn or clean. To just say that a certain portion of the picture looks similar and claim that this is art style thievery is just nitpicking and trying too hard to prove a point. Actually, I want to bring up something that is a lot more obvious and is clearly an issue in the art community that most people seem to be avoiding. Art style imitation. Now this is actually something we can discuss and it might even come off as a mean rant. It is common for us to learn from those who are already successful and try to copy what they do in order to obtain the same result, like watching people defeat bosses in video games and try to copy their steps. For example, fan arts of sexy girls or handsome boys character? Well, there's Sakimi-chan. And what about cute or teenage or muscular furries? Well, we have Silver Fox or Thanshuhai and New Ghost. These are some of the popular names that most people will know about even if they don't care about their particular style because of how prominent they are in the art community. And there are just so many people out there trying to draw exactly the same thing they do with the same composition, same type of characters, and even the same type of style. While you can say that they are stealing a style, because such thing doesn't exist to begin with, to me, this falls under what I call art style imitation, because that's the exact feel I get when I view most of the works that falls under this category. You just go, hey, did Silver Fox draw this? And then you'll be like, never mind, it was someone else I don't know about. I know that learning from someone already successful is the easiest way to learn, but there's a reason why they recommend that you should learn from multiple sources. When you just learn from minimal sources, you don't deviate on your own, and you just subconsciously absorb everything they do without a doubt. When it comes to art, you just end up with works that feel like a cheaper and less polished alternative to the big name artists. You know, like a shadow. Your names aren't exactly remembered. Instead, when your names are actually brought up, it's often for something controversial, like art style thievery claim. This is my take on the whole art style imitation, and I'll be honest that I am not a fan of it. There are so many new artists that will just say something along the line that they are trying to learn to be like a certain name artist, when instead they should be saying that they want to surpass this artist, not just be like them. And with that out of my chest, let's move on to the last topic. It's actually a question that I get asked really often because of what I draw and the way I draw them. People actually expect me to be drawing porn, but I actually don't, and I won't. Why? Let me first state that I have absolutely nothing against people who draw porns. Good art do take skill. Porn is included, and I'll respect the artist for that. The reason I don't draw porns has to do with what you call an artist's name. To artists, what we draw defines us. It's like a title that sticks when it is unlocked, and if I choose to draw even a single porno, people will forever label me as a porn artist. And to be labeled as such is not overall beneficial for me. For example, being labeled as a porn artist actually gives people who dislike my art something to nitpick with in the future, and I want to avoid that. It's going to be really discouraging when I spend years building up my name only for someone to tell me that I'm only leveling cause I draw porn. I just want a secure and quiet future life where I can mess around and draw whatever I want with minimal repercussion that my watchers can enjoy. Such a life is priceless and cannot be bought with porn money. And that's about wraps up the 3 big topics I want to discuss in this video. Before I go, let me answer the remaining questions I received from the July Ask Me on my Patreon that could not be answered on the 4-panel comics. What exactly is the spirit or entity that travels alongside Nixu? The purple spirit thing is called a Shin in the world of Antoran, a lesser creature that is around the same level as wild creatures. Shins are like spiritual creatures that have been infused with the mana in the surrounding area and given a rather short life and minor intelligence. Being a summoner, Nixu can control a Shin and feed it more mana directly from his own source, giving it more intelligence and longer lifespan along with its own personality. This is actually quite difficult and tedious, which is why the summoner role is not popular among the magical birds, despite how powerful it is. If Voluflam is blue and Aegis is red, is there a third sibling with the color green in their hair? No. They are the only 2 pups of the Silverfang family. That's it for this video. If you want to see more of my contents, check out any of the links below and subscribe for more. I also have a Twitter now where you can see me randomly ranting about pointless stuff and tweeting new plans or updates. If you have a certain topic in mind you want me to tackle, leave a comment and I'll give it a look. That's out. I'll see you next time.